Everything's a work in progress.
Okay, we are live.
Okay.
All right. Good morning. Good morning, Lay. And we've got. Oh.
No, that's okay. Go
hear
ahead.
It's working.
I can hear it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, developer community. Really excited to be back for our episode 5, I believe. Both Lay and myself are getting into a good rhythm here, waking up early on Thursday mornings to do this, to record this. But it's always exciting when we've got a handful of great guests who are joining us, and we will get to them in just a second. So just a quick recap. We had our guest from IOV Labs, which manage or sort of curate and help work with the RSK network, Michael Mendes, on last week, along with one of our sort of recent builds using the Covalent API, which was Ankit Raj of Pandora Finance. And it was really cool building out or having him demo his build out of this Netflix for NFTs marketplace, which was really cool. So definitely go back and check that video. I think the POAPs have been distributed, Lay, is that correct?
Yeah, so we do them on Tuesdays now, just to give you some time to go through the quiz if you are watching the episode later. And I think quite a few people, that's the way it's going now. So you can join us for these live sessions, or you can just watch the recording once we upload and do the little quiz. I was really impressed by like how many people got the answers right. I thought I had some tricky things in there, but not really. So I'll make it harder this time.
Awesome. So the theme for today is the recent. Okay, Lay, you have to say it this time because I think you've memorized what it's called.
Okay.
That's right.
It's the Gitcoin DeFi and cross-chain interoperability hackathon.
That's right. I don't know what the acronym of that spells out. I wouldn't want to try it, but we just internally call it the Gitcoin cross-chain hackathon. So Gitcoin ran sort of sponsored this hackathon that we were a part of. It was really exciting for us to contribute a couple of key bounties. So we had started with sort of 3 broad categories for the bounties. One was coming up with a template for a DAO, or decentralized autonomous organization analytics dashboard. So we see all these DAOs coming up. It's become a very I wouldn't necessarily say mainstream just yet, but it's definitely become in the public domain a little bit more with the likes of Friends with Benefits and host of other large DAOs. So every one of them has got needs for some sort of analytics to understand the makeup of their membership, to understand what assets and resources they have available, how people have sort of voted, what proposals are up for discussion and to be bid on. So there is a need for an analytics dashboard that can be readily put together. And so the goal of that particular bounty was putting a template together where essentially by using the contract address for the DAO, you'd be able to pull in all sorts of interesting information on chain using the Covalent API. We also had something similar for DEXs. So decentralized exchanges, we've got a pretty unique endpoint where by simply putting in the name of the DEX and the what we call the chain ID, so what network they're a part of, what EVM network they're a part of, automatically you have access to, I think, 9 or 10 different endpoints that pull everything from the pool data to the historical trends. So a lot of really key information for DEXs pulled together by just a handful of APIs that are very easy to use with the particular DEXs that they're configured for. The third one, which we won't talk about too much, it was a little bit more ambitious. It was a machine learning type of algorithm that would be used to classify wallet addresses. So whether they were whales or whether they were, whatever interesting category, we had the participants come up with whatever they thought might be a good fit. So we got, I think, one submission for that. It was still in the early stages, and we had one of our alchemists actually do a really good workshop on blockchain data and machine learning. So we'll share that in the show notes if you hadn't had a chance to take a look at that. But that's a context. That's enough talking here from my end. But let's dive into the winners of our bounties. So we've got Seth and Sabelo, who were part of the DAOlytics. I think was the name.
Cheeto
of
was
the,
actually.
Oh, okay, that's right. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's right, you guys are all like working together now, so I got to keep in mind that what you guys actually built was separate, which itself is a really cool story. So Seth and Cheeto worked on DAOlytics, and Sabelo worked on the DashDeX application. So without further ado, maybe we'll start with Seth and Cheeto, talk a little bit about the DAOlytics. You know, what was sort of your motivation for putting that together, and then maybe even give us a little bit of a demo.
Yeah, sure. I can start, and I guess I'll do like a little background of how me and Cheeto met, just to get some. So we actually were both working on a previous hackathon for Casper, and we kind of kept missing each other. One of us was away, and then we'd get back, and we kind of never really landed and were able to work with each other. But then we got in touch after the fact, and Cheeto actually saw this, the Covalent hackathon, and we decided, yeah, we'll give that one a go. And then we teamed up for that one, and he did pretty much all of the backend Python sort of machine learning type things with the API routes. And then I'm more of a front end engineer with Next.js. So our skills really complemented each other. And we started that probably a few days after it started, and we were just hooked right away. So it was awesome. I don't know if you want to add to that, Cheeto.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was really great working with Seth. Like the skills that we had like really complemented each other, like Seth mentioned. So I had some like a knowledge of the front end, but like Seth's knowledge about the front end stuff was really great. So it was like really easy to like even discuss things and work on things. So yeah, like it was really great.
Yeah, it was awesome. So I guess without further ado, I'll share my screen. Hopefully this goes well. Share screen. Let's do. Always do the wrong ones. Let me make sure. This should be it. Can you guys see?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so this is the landing page that we have. And we wanted to just do, because it was a template dashboard. So we just did 4, medium to small sized DAOs just to, get the proof of concept set up. So we did Radical, Gitcoin, P Network, and Stakewise. So you can select one of these. So I'll just do Stakewise. And then as soon as you go in, we did these 7 metrics to start. And then we obviously have a lot more that we want to incorporate as we go forward. But the first one that we have is a sentiment analysis, which Cheeto worked on. He's the brains behind this one for sure. We're using Python and Tweepy, and I'm not going to go into the actual API routes. I'll let Cheeto do that because I'll probably butcher it anyway. But yes, this pretty much just crawls through Twitter, finds 100 tweets based on the name of the DAO, and it's pulling that from the contract address up here. And then it just looks at the text body within there and sees if it's positive, negative, or neutral, and gives a percentage. Then we have the current quote rate, which is pretty self-explanatory. It's just the current price the DAO is using for their token. The fully diluted market cap, which you can see from these tooltips, is the max supply of the coin in circulation times its current price to get, like the basic value of the DAO, essentially. Number of members, which is pretty self-explanatory. And then we have the overall activity, which for now we're just pulling 250 transactions from Covalent. But in the future, we'd like to have like a date range that you can change between, like you'll see on CoinMarketCap or various places where you can, do current month, year total, that sort of thing. Then we have the Gini voting, or the Gini coefficient, which is pretty much the voting power concentration. And I'll let Cheeto go into that, but it's basically 1 means 1 is maximum inequality and 0 is perfect equality. So most DAOs are hovering around a 1 right now. And then going kind of in the same vein as that, we have the top 25 token holders. And for right now, we have the treasury in here, you can see, which is like the 48%. So we plan to remove that because we also presented this to Gitcoin during the showcase, and Leon, I guess, from Gitcoin was asking if we included the treasuries because that can really skew it. So we're going to remove those from it, and hopefully that number will get a little more balanced out. And then, yeah, it's just all these are pulled from the chain ID up here and then the contract address. So if I go back and select another one, so let's do Gitcoin, same things. And we're using Next.js with SWR hook, which is stale while revalidate. So you'll notice that it'll just keep all of the values in. And then as soon, like every 30 seconds, we have it set now, it'll automatically fetch everything again and just repopulate. So if I go back, you'll see as soon as I click one, the stats will change right away, so you can see. So yeah, that's pretty much, like, we looked at the bounty details of exactly what metrics to track. And we try to pick the top ones for that, for the metrics that we're viewing here, but we've already been talking, and we can go into that later, but about all the different other metrics we want to include. But I'll save that for later and stop talking for a bit so Cheeto can go over the API routes in a little more detail.
Sure. So basically, we just skimmed through the challenge description, and like Seth said, we tried to like include all the major matrices which we found were relevant to the description. We were like trying to figure out the asset under management too, but like we had a hard luck calculating that. So I guess we'll try to include that later. So I'll just explain the API endpoints that we use. So majorly, we try to use the class A and class C endpoints for calculating the data. So say for the code trade, we directly got the code trade from a class C endpoint. I like don't want to get into much details about the specific endpoints, but majorly we use like the class A and class C endpoints that are provided by Covalent. And for the sentiment analysis thing, basically what we did was we made a developer account on Twitter, got the access token, and we tried to like fetch the top 100 tweets according to the DAO's name. So right now we just use the DAO's name as the keyword for the search, which we try to like, which we'll try to improve later a bit. So we'll try to include more keywords for future, but right now it's just using the DAO's name as the keyword to fetch like the top 100 tweets. And then what we did was use a score called polarity score to get like how positive that tweet is, like to find out the percentages of positive, negative, and neutral thing that you can see in the dashboard. So yeah, that was it. Like we'll try to improve this a bit later in future. So like I've already started working on improving it. So I have like incorporated like a couple of keywords that we can use right now. And so this was for the sentiment analysis thing. And apart from that, so yeah, for the Gini index, basically I found out there is an alchemist tutorial on the Covalent channel. I was just going through the whole channel and I found out a tutorial. So Seth and me were discussing about how we can like show the concentration of power in the DAO. So the Gini index was a great option, and the tutorial was like really, really amazing. So I just followed along and tried, like it was in Excel, so I tried to implement that whole thing in Python. And yeah, so this was like a really good thing to work on, the Gini index thing. Apart from that, what we did was we coordinated really well. So what I tried to do in the backend is I provided the data in JSON or list format, so that like Seth can directly just focus on getting the data and populating the dashboard in the front end. So yeah, majorly this was the major like the backend thing that we did. It wasn't that complicated, but yeah, like we majorly use Python and the request package for fetching the data. And yeah, so that's it for the backend.
Nice. This is so cool. Like so many of these things are so relevant to DAOs, and I haven't really seen a DAO dashboard before actually, but it was something that a lot of people were asking about. So I was glad that that was one of the bounties. Like especially the Gini coefficient stuff. I have an econ background, so I noticed that right away. But I think Harish and I had a little discussion on this last week. I think just about how so many DAOs are pretty close to one still. And it's interesting, like given the kind of motto of being kind of equally spread. So it'll be cool to like track those and see how they evolve and kind of like hold people accountable through stuff like this. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You had mentioned the total assets under management as being an additional metric to add here. Any other things you would want to add as sort of the next iteration?
Yeah, definitely. So we already, Cheeto actually last night sent over the Python route for Snapshot. So we're going to be putting in a table with all the current proposals, their status, and then have that in like a tabular sort of format, and then even functionality to, draft a new proposal.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And then go ahead.
Yeah, so we have like created a Notion dashboard where we are like tracking all the progress that we are making.
Yeah, I
so
don't
we
know if you
have
guys
had
can
like
see it.
a lot of features.
Oh wow, nice.
Yes,
Got
we've
a
got
whole
all the
project board and everything going on here.
There's a lot to
yeah.
do.
Yeah. So these are like the main things for the future that we want to incorporate. And a lot of the stuff from Sabelo, we were just admiring his dashboard with the dark light themes, mobile responsiveness. And we can get into that later of how we kind of met, but now we're all part of this. And I've started to create, it's very rough right now, but a Adobe XD wireframe of where we want to go with it. So we want to have like wallet integration where you can, connect and then keep track of all your DAOs. This is still really preliminary, but yeah, so we have a lot of ideas for the future of the app. We don't want to stop working on it. It's been tons of fun and made some awesome friendships along the way too.
That's awesome. That's so good to hear. You guys kind of remind me of two of our alchemists that were OGs, Godshamix and Snowdot. They had the same thing where they would just compete in a lot of hackathons together, and one of them did the back end and one of them did the front end, and they would just win like everything. All the time. I feel like a good partnership is awesome to build together. It must be.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I definitely want to get into the story of sort of how you three are working together and sort of moving this project forward. But before I guess we do that, Sabelo, let's have you sort of show what you've built. Talk a little bit through. It was interesting. Your submission had come through, it was in the spreadsheet, but I'd kind of like almost missed it. So we had evaluated everyone else's, and then I saw there was this one that wasn't graded, and I was like, oh, I wonder what's going on here, and I couldn't find a live demo, so I just downloaded the repo and just ran it locally, and I was like, whoa, this is actually pretty cool. So then I made sure I reached out to you to see if you had a working live link, because I think people should definitely see it. But why don't you talk a little bit about your submission?
Okay. So I firstly I saw the hackathon on the YouTube video when you and Emmanuel were showcasing the workshop. So I was really interested in it. So I said, you know what, let me just try this out and add it as my portfolio project. So I took it in and I joined the hackathon. So I just said, when I read the description, I said, okay, let me just try and build something that's will be a bit unique and a bit modern. So I just said, let me just mix some colors and put some nice colors in. So I said, I would like to share my screen. Hope everyone can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I use the normal standard dashboard, the framework with the title on the sides, and on the top, I use the hippo widget, which it was really interesting to me when I first saw it. So I just said, okay, let me just put it in my project because it looked so interesting, and even with the color mode, with the light mode and dark mode, it's also was also taking it in. So I said, let me just use it in. Then I put it in on the top. But firstly, I wanted to put it on top here. But looking at it, I said, no, let me just put it on top. Then, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
All right. Okay. Okay. So,
I was actually going to comment. I know the ticker has nothing to do with our API, but I still thought it was really cool that you added that in there.
Looks awesome.
I was really inspired on it when I saw it on the Hippo dashboard. So I said, let me just put it in just to make the project more unique with a touch. Then I used the health endpoints, putting on the components, because most of the project is mostly built on components, because this health section is a component on its own, and this ecosystem as well, it's a component of its own. Then integrating the graphs, I use the token terminals graph just to put some other widget as well on the project, just to make it look like unique. So just to reflect the DX exchange, so everyone can see, okay, here we can see the protocols and the daily supplies and the revenue. So I wanted to mix everything together. Then what really impressed me with this, when I was really inspired with the DEX name, the sushi name, and the price codes, which I was able to fetch them using the ecosystem API, the endpoints, then using the total active pairs, the total fees, the total swaps. And you'll notice something that when I noticed when you click this button, it will actually show you the different DX. So when I was reading the description, when they said that, okay, we need to make it as a DX, that will actually, for people to actually be able to view the tokens, the pools, and all the health states and the blockchain and the last block height. So they said, okay, let me just try and put all the DX on this dashboard. But the challenge that I had was to the routing. So that's why I decided to use Next.js, which I normally use, which makes it more easier to actually route from page to page. So when you click on quick swap,
and
it will
just
load
as you're,
and it. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Sabelo. Keep going.
Also, when you select it, okay, thank you. So when you select, it will actually show you the different dashboard of another DEX name, which is quick swap. So that was the power of the Covalent APIs, because it makes you find different endpoints for different DX, and to actually make it more convenient, I use Redux toolkit to actually query different endpoints for different exchanges, because when you click here again, it will take you again to another DX exchange. So and the loading part as well makes it more sufficient, because because of the toolkit, the way it fetches the data from different endpoints with different routings.
Very cool. And I think the way you've got this set up is like the dexes are all just in a config file. So if we add more dexes to our endpoints, or more I guess dex endpoints, we can just update that config file and it should just pull in that data automatically.
What I did, I built like different components for different decks. So what will happen if we happen to add more? So we will have to build another component for that decks. So from the API where we actually routing it up, we have to add another file for that DAX. So it's I didn't use the config file, so I just built it on components to make it more easier to edit.
I think you might be thinking of our project, Harish. There we have like a constants file with all like just JSON of the different.
Yeah, you've got that DAOs. As well. I know.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I think Sabelo, you also had a config, but it sounds like you're not necessarily using that as just the only place where you would need to make changes. You would actually have to build a component for each of the dexes that we support. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Very cool. So, overall, this was very beautifully done. Like I mean, you can just see it. Like it's just really, really clean. The night mode, just that I think was what sold it for me. It's funny how these like just visual things just make a huge difference. Leah, any questions from your end? And then I want to ask them how they're working together, sort of going forward here.
Yeah, that's actually my main question too. I'm kind of curious to see what's next for all of you.
Yeah, so I guess I'll kick that off. But so after the results came out, I saw Sabelo's project and then actually DM'd him on Twitter and said, "Hey, your project was awesome, congrats." And that was pretty much it. And he said, "Thanks." And then a little bit later, he actually messaged me back and he was like, "Oh, I didn't even realize that you were the winner of the other one." And then we kind of got talking and we both were saying how we really liked the API and we want to take the projects further. So from that point, we kind of switched our conversation from Twitter to Discord. And I basically gave him the rundown of where we were at. And then that I was working with Cheeto. So then we made a 3-way Discord call and we all kind of met each other. And that was yesterday, right? I think. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Time dilation effects here.
Yeah.
Just everything happening so quickly.
Oh yeah, 100%. So we had a call yesterday just to kind of meet and greet. And Sabelo, his mic wasn't working at the time, so he luckily got one. This one sounds much better than the one last night, so you picked a good one. And then we just joined the Notion pretty much, and the plans are to kind of take all the best parts of each of our project. Like we'd like to have a lot of this functionality that Sabelo's already built in with the mobile responsiveness, and his is built with Next.js as well. Ours is too, so it'll be easy integration. And then so after that call, we started to get Cheeto had to get off because it was like 3 or 4 a.m. his time. It's funny because like the morning for me is afternoon for Sabelo and like before bed for Cheeto. So then Sabelo and I continued and we set up his local development environment with Vercel. We got to like 95%, but we're still having trouble with the Python routes, but we're gonna try to fix that today. But then we'll be fully operational to just continue. And then Cheeto's also been, you can talk Cheeto a bit about the like the main name and different stuff we've been doing too.
So basically I was just going through a web, it's called I don't remember the name, but like I was just searching for some domain names. Like Seth and I discussed that we should probably have a domain name for DAOlytics. So I got like just today I bought DAOlytics.xyz for like $1. So that was a good deal. Yeah, so we plan on like switching to a domain name that's more relevant to DAOlytics. So we might use DAOlytics.xyz. And yeah, we have like a task list to like include some really cool features and make the DAO onboarding process as easy and intuitive as it can be, so that like any DAO would be able to like onboard just from the front end itself rather than like going through the whole backend process. We just want like a DAO should be able to add up things from the front end itself, and they should. Uh, so just to speak about one of the features that we want to include is like we plan on including a toggle button, so that if some DAO think that the matrices that we are showing in the template, they don't need those, so they can just toggle it off and remove it from the dashboard. So this is one little feature that we plan on adding. And yeah, so apart from that, we do plan on adding some really cool features, some more Twitter integrations, and some more like machine learning stuff that like I know a bit. Like during my college time, I worked a lot on data analysis and machine learning stuff. So we do plan on adding some cool like machine learning metric related to the DAOs. So
Sweet.
yeah.
Is there anything like on the Covalent side that we could do to help this process?
So we're actually, or
yeah,
I'll just say that, yeah. So we're actually making a pitch deck too, and the Adobe XD just for the future of the project. And we're actually we saw another bounty because when we did the Gitcoin showcase, they actually recommended, oh, did you know there's a DAO hackathon going on now, and there's probably a bounty in there that you could, you know, continue building the project to get some funds to keep going. So we joined. I made a application for that and added me, Cheeto, and Sabelo to it. So we're going to be, you know, building and then submitting for that one that ends in like 19 days. But the main thing we want to get is like feedback. So once we get the Adobe like wireframe set up, we'd love to. I've been talking with Leon from Gitcoin. We're going to get in touch with their marketing team because they've kind of been doing this on their own pretty much by brute force, making their own dashboard. So it'd be awesome to meet with you guys. And I know in the Alchemist, there's a task in there now in the Dev Guild for making a DAO like dashboard pretty much. So it'd be great to meet with you guys and do like a little kind of dog and pony show of here's what we're thinking, and you guys can give us feedback before we actually go out and build all these different components. We want to make sure that, you know, the market's going to actually want them, not just building stuff that we think is cool, but DAOs won't actually use. So it'd be great to keep in touch and definitely get some, you know, nitty gritty feedback from you guys.
Yeah,
absolutely. We're definitely more than willing to help out. We've got. I was just saying, you know, they just need to chat with Pratik. Pratik's sort of like our DAO master. He's probably involved in I don't know how many different DAOs, but he's been sort of our guide on helping shape even the bounties and what you know, we should be you know, putting forward as like the core requirements. So definitely can put you in touch and have him part of a conversation. I mentioned a grants program that we're looking forward to launching in the new year. So we'll definitely keep you up to date on that. And yeah, anything else that we can do, whether it's introductions and contacts and stuff like that, more than happy to help you guys out. Are you guys just sort of bootstrapping this on the side of your desk right now? Is this like a part-time gig, or are you guys sort of full-time on this right now?
Yes, that's definitely well, I'll start, but it's part-time for me. So I'm actually professionally certified environmental engineer, and I just picked up coding about 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Just saw a random, well, probably a year and a half, saw a random web development bootcamp on Udemy. And I was like, that's something I've been wanting to try for a while. So I just, you know, bought it for like $10, started watching it, and was just obsessed ever since. That's
Best investment ever, huh?
Yeah, that's like my hobby now. No more video games, and then I discovered Web3, so it's like that's even more on top of the like even more. So it's definitely part-time for me.
Very cool. Sorry, go ahead. Gio, were you going to say something?
So yeah, for me, it's like kind of the full-time thing right now. I left my job. Like I was working as a product manager in an education technology company, but I left like I guess I left in March, and since then I've been like going through the blockchain space, the DeFi space. I have like tried a couple of more hackathons too. And since then I've been trying to like figure out how things work. I've been learning Solidity, Rust, and all the other stuff that's there in the space. So for me right now, it's like DAOlytics is something I really, really want to work on.
Down the rabbit hole. That's what you've been doing.
I want to eventually transition it to my main gig. So I love working on it, but
I think
go ahead, Sabelo.
Sorry, go ahead, Sabelo.
I'll say for me, it's a full-time thing. Yesterday when I was speaking to Seth, they're telling me that this year when I discovered.
Uh-oh.
It's lagging.
He's back.
Looks like you're back.
I'm back. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
So I was saying for me, it's a full-time thing. Yesterday I was speaking to Seth, just explaining to him how I got into the tech. So it's also for me, it's a second year. But this year was the beginning of the year was my first time getting into blockchain. I was really interested by the Web3, especially the things that we can build and the technology and the decentralizing and the DAO, the DeFi, the NFT. It sounds interesting. It's like there's more to build and there's more to innovate in the ecosystem. So for me, it's a full time. I'm really enjoying it, and there's something that Arish said when they were hosting the show on the 18th. He said it's now it's another experience for developers because you learn and you earn at the same time, and there's more there's more into you getting interested into it because there's more opportunities. So yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Awesome.
And it's interesting.
Yeah, there's we always say 1 billion possibilities, but literally that's true.
Yeah.
And the learn to earn thing is massive in this space. It's awesome because it allows people to go full time pretty quickly if you have skills, and especially with DAOs or with hackathons, those are great ways to kind of freelance, I guess, almost, and you make a living by just doing things that you're interested in and learning while you do it. So it's awesome.
We talk between us, it's just crazy how much money available there is in this space for these hackathons, and
it's incredible, actually.
Yeah, lots of them you'll look and there will be 20,000 in prizes and no submissions. It's just
we are literally throwing money at developers and saying, come build. And so I know right now there's in some cases there are bounties that don't even get submissions, but I think that's going to change. You'll start to see I think a tipping point over the next couple of years as more devs get into this space. So you guys are definitely in at the right time, and you've got a really awesome project that you're working on. So we're really excited about that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you guys too. We were we had lots of questions throughout, and you guys are always helpful in the Discord, and definitely one of the much better I guess grant funders that we've worked with. Some of them it's kind of you ask a question and then it's just radio silence for a while. So it's very refreshing to have you guys just be on top of it and actually do the payouts very quickly. So much appreciated.
Awesome. Seth, Sabelo, Chito, thank you guys so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Again, make sure you're in touch. We're happy to connect you as you need. So keep us posted on your progress, and when you guys are the big project in town, just remember us and remember to throw us a few tokens.
So I guess we'll be using the Covalent API then also. So we'll need you guys, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
You guys can shut us off like that. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You're more than welcome to stick around. We're just going to talk about a few other things we have going on, but if you need to drop off, by all means. Awesome. Okay. So next, we just quickly talk a little bit about what we've got going on. So the API docs, the new version of that, we've launched that for a few weeks. Got some really good feedback. Please continue to keep giving us feedback on the API reference. Any issues that you run into, or any additional features you'd like to see. We're constantly evolving that and hoping to include your feedback into that for the next iteration. So please continue to give us that feedback.
Yeah, here's your reminder too to use our governance forum for that. So for feature requests specifically, go to the development section of our Covalent governance forum. And that way you can see kind of like what's already been requested and what we're working on. But yeah, on the doc side, it's really exciting. Like there's so much to look forward to. It's just can't really say it all at once. But more languages for sure. And just more accessibility to get to onboard new developers into Web3, because that's something that we're really focused on going forward. So yeah.
Awesome. We'll get into the other bit about the governance with a proposal that we recently had in just a second, but I do want to quickly share sort of 2 active hackathons that we are a part of that are underway. So the first one is this BUIDLs run by Polygon. So it's on now, runs until mid-December. It's being hosted with Devfolio, primarily geared towards developers in India, but hopefully some of you had a chance to register and be a part of this. There's a lot of good mentorship, a lot of good ideas sort of floating in the Polygon ecosystem. So definitely worth checking out. And then the second one coming up is with our partner Morales, that is running a hackathon with Avalanche, which is also a partner of ours. So check this one out. It starts December 6th. There is I'll share the link in the show notes here for signing up. But there's 350,000 plus in prizes that are currently available from a whole host of different sponsors. So definitely one to check out. Those are the 2 that are active right now, and then we've got a whole host lined up for Q1 that we're really excited about. So everything from something with Axie to IoTX, to a couple other ones that we're still in the early planning stages. So stay tuned for announcements around those. Those will likely be in sort of January, February timeframe.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. And if you want to learn more about our API, like a little bit of an overview, we will be giving a workshop tomorrow as part of the Build It Hackathon. So Harish and I will be doing that at, I think it's like 6:30 a.m. for us, but I don't know. I think it's like 2:30 IS or UTC. So yeah, feel free to join us for that. And I guess you kind of hinted at the upcoming Axie collab, but I can share some more details on that. So
let's hear it.
Last time we mentioned, last week, the Ronin proposal was live. So one of our alchemists proposed we index Axie sidechain Ronin, because a lot of people are curious about getting their hands on that data. And they're doing something pretty cool with like play to earn, and just like the rarity and the economics of their whole project is really interesting. But there's it's kind of hard to get the data and to make insights. And they've got some really incredible fan sites and everything that are made, but I think that info is kind of concentrated. So anyway, everybody's really excited, and the governance proposal passed. I think it was like around 1.9 million votes this time, which was great. And yeah, so it looks like you'll be able to query like Axie stuff pretty soon with our API, which is really awesome. And on that note, actually, like internally, our team is pretty excited about it too. So Ganesh, like our CEO, he was kind of like the first person to take a look at the data, because he's like, I want to see what's going on. These numbers are too good to be true. But He and our data scientist, Brandon, have been working on a couple things. So yeah, you may or may not see some stuff coming out from them regarding Axie as well, which will be sweet because I think it's a misunderstood space that's kind of blowing up, and this revolution from like free to play to earn games. So yeah.
Yeah, Axie is definitely a very, very exciting project. It's got so much traction, so much data. In fact, it's actually overloading our systems that we need to, basically throttle through a little bit and be able to scale with it. But it's very exciting. And so, yeah, stay tuned for some sort of little deep dives that we're going to do around, Axie data. And then also I just updated our docs to include the details for the Ronin network. So I think in probably by the end of this week, by tomorrow, basically, or early next week, you'll be able to use the API to query Ronin data, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
Awesome. Education, Rust. Anything to share about that, Lei? I know there was a couple of things you were pretty excited about.
Yeah, well, there's just so many opportunities to learn. So that's kind of my next big thing. Within our Alchemist DAO, they started a study group to learn Rust, because obviously that's kind of a big thing right now that everybody's buzzing about. Our Rust engineer was like highly sought after. I made that meme about everybody like spying on Aurelian because he knows Rust.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're calling it Rust Stations, which is super cute, but they meet on Tuesdays and they just have like a working session and they study and learn together. And there's lots of little groups like that in our community and in other communities where you can like come together and learn and help each other out. So that's one of the best ways, if you're new to this space, I think, to expand your horizons and get involved. So if you want to stay up to date on that, or maybe see some of the past content, Alchemist DAO Twitter is probably the best place to go, or join our Discord if you're not already. But yeah, that's on the Rust front. Pretty big one.
So for you, Seth, and Cheeto and Sabelo, keep Rust on the horizon. It seems to be a pretty popular framework in the Web3 space.
Yeah. So actually, I'm part of the Rust workshop that has like Covalent as well. Yeah. So I missed the first one, but like I talked up with Tobias and like so actually Seth and me, and I guess Sabelo too, are having a bit of problem because like Tobias mentioned that it's mainly an internal thing right now for the Alchemist. And we have been trying to get the CQT token to become an Alchemist. So it's like a lot of hassle because like the gas fees are really high right now.
Oh yeah.
And we have tried like registering on like a couple of exchanges, but like the process is taking a lot of time. So we are kind of like stuck till the time we get a CQT token to like even I guess the channel was the Rust channel was open right now, but like we want to be part of the dev guild. So I guess for that we need to be an alchemist first. So if you guys have like some other way to, so like we can get a CQT token to just become an alchemist first, that would be like really cool.
We're actually just going to abandon the requirement there, I think, because it's just been an issue for so many people with gas fees, and it doesn't really make any sense because CQT is like $1 and the gas fees is like crazy.
Yeah, so
that should be
we were trying to buy a token. One token was costing us around $110 to buy the gas fees.
You gotta spend money to make money. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be changing, so don't worry. Yeah, we definitely, that's one of the major things we're looking forward to, is just like opening up the Alchemist program more, because initially it was very accessible, and then we didn't really expect like all of the changes in the space to complicate things for that requirement, because we thought like, oh, one CQT is not going to be a big deal, but here we are. So yeah, we're aware of it. We'll be changing that.
Yeah, so as long as you're interested, that's all that really matters. We'll take care of the barriers. The Alchemist program is being sort of restructured a bit, so you won't have to worry about trying to acquire one CQT to participate or anything like that. It'll be open.
Mhm.
Awesome.
I'm glad to hear you're talking to Tobias as well as part of the Dev Guild, because he was like one of the leads on the DAO dashboard stuff that we were looking at.
Yeah, like he suggested us to check out the job on the DAO, the Dev Guild Notion. So he sent us like a link on the Discord to check this out. So that was something we were like really interested into. So
Nice.
Very cool. We've got a few minutes here left, so I mean, this is just open space. If there's any questions from you guys, if for anything that you've sort of heard, just sort of scanning YouTube here. Don't see anything that's worthy of a chat here, but we can keep this pretty casual if there's any questions from your end. Otherwise, we'll just wrap it up.
I think I'm pretty good. And I'm always a Discord chat away, so it's super easy to get in touch with people, which is nice.
Awesome.
I don't have any questions.
Awesome. So a little bit of foreshadowing for next week. We're going to talk a little bit about ETH Global. So we had the Web3 Jam wrap up this I guess just yesterday actually, and there were I think 25 submissions using our API, and half of the top 10 finalists all ended up using our API. So we're going to be reaching out to them, trying to get a few of them to join us for the episode. But yeah, if ETH Global isn't also on your radar, it's a fantastic developer event. They've got a series throughout the entire year. And it's free to, you do have to stake, but it is sort of free in the sense that you don't actually have to pay to participate, but lots of really good bounties coming out of ETH Global as well. So something to keep in mind if there are other opportunities you're looking for.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool to see the Web3 Gem tweet that was like the top 10 overall finalists, and literally had the bottom chunk, like that half was Covalent API users. Nice.
Yeah,
awesome. Great.
The stuff coming out of hackathons just is incredible. There was one where I think it's basically in Figma, you can basically mint your NFTs directly from your Figma pages. So there's something, yeah, exactly. So some really cool stuff that people have been building, and we're really looking forward to diving a bit deeper in with some of those projects. So that's going to be the focus for next week. But yeah.
For next week, also, we're going to have Nick from the NW Plus Hackathon. So there was a team of people whose first time it was building in Web3. There's a hackathon that's like university run that's geared towards kind of getting like students and people accustomed to this space. And they built this thing, NFT Pokemon. So they like battle the metadata basically against each other, and then one wins and you can claim it. So we're going to have Nick on from that. He said that was just their first start, but he's really excited to talk about it and explore.
There are times I wish I was born like 15 years later. I think to be young like that and in this space right now is just so exciting. We've got a lot of young people on our team as well, as we keep finding out, or at least I keep finding out, because I'm definitely on the let's say the older side. But for you guys, definitely a fantastic opportunity to be at the forefront for building sort of the next infrastructure for the next generation of the web, which is super exciting.
Definitely. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on and for showing everything. That was great. Can't wait.
Thanks for having us. It was fun.
I'm more than welcome.
Awesome. So before we wrap up, POAPs, as people are probably thinking, Lay, so what do they need to do to get one?
Yeah. So I'll release this episode once everything's recorded. We've been editing like the little time chunks and stuff to make it easier to go through. And then in the show notes, we'll have relevant links for like some of those hackathons, and I'll put the type form. So we have a little quiz now for each episode. If you want to get a POAP, you have until Tuesday the following week. It's noon PST, so I think it's like 8 UTC for you to complete that. And then the POAPs are sent out on Tuesday. So you basically have like a few days to complete everything.
hopefully we can pass the quiz, guys.
Okay.
If you can't pass the quiz, there's something wrong here, because they'll be all around you guys. So
Blacked out
yeah.
this whole episode.
Yeah, it'll be like, what's Sabelo's favorite food?
Yeah.
That would be animalistic to say Cheeto. Okay.
Where does Cheeto come from? That's completely off topic, but
So it's like Indore, it's a city in middle India. Like it's in Madhya Pradesh, that's the state. So yeah, I'm like, I live here. I was born and brought up here.
okay.
But so where does the name that nickname sort of come from? Is that just something you just came up with, or is there any significance based on where you're at?
So a friend of mine just gave me this nickname. So I've been like, I wanted a nickname for a while. So she suggested that why not just go with this. So I felt like this was really cool. So I just went with it.
Nice.
You can come up with a whole series of NFTs around that name. So that could be your marketplace. Yeah. You don't need the Bored Ape Yacht Club or whatever it's called. You just have the Cheeto Club.
Yeah, the orange
definitely.
fingers or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, guys, thank you so much. Really appreciate you being on here, and we'll share the link to this video once it's ready to go. But again, please stay in touch. We'd love to help you guys out as you see fit.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.